He gets down here. We'll be with you for the next 30 minutes just to recap what an absolutely epic weekend it has been. Now, it feels like we've been here for about 6 weeks already, but it has
At
been...
least, yeah.
It's been a full endurance. But once again, Sébastien Ogier, who knows how he does it, but every time he manages to pull something out the bag.
Yeah, well, I think we have seen from him so many times the way they put the strategy to the race. He is thinking about the whole race from the absolute first stage of the rally, and he is doing that so well. Of course, there is a group of people behind him, the engineers, the team. There is so much experience in that truck, and obviously it's always the driver who is making the final calls, but it's the strategy really seemed to work out well. Also, he has on some occasions through the weekend given away a bit more time than we expected him to do. But I think it's been all part of, you know, his plan of avoiding troubles. And of course, we have to say as well that Oitanak has been the fastest driver this weekend. And you know, his problems was unfortunate, but again, it just shows that Ogier is able to stay out of trouble all the time, and his strategy has really paid off this weekend.
I think we actually see that quite a bit on a Sunday morning. We've seen it in the last couple that he's been part of this season with us, is that he goes out on a Sunday morning just more cautiously than perhaps he needs to, does drop a bit of time. I think it's almost to lure everyone into a false sense of security that actually, you know, he might drop a bit more time and then he just powers through the next few stages.
Yeah, I think we also have to remember that he's not doing a full season. He has big breaks between his races, and also he is getting older. So, you know, tuning that limit between pushing and being safe, I think normally, at least in the past, he could reduce by 0.5% and be super safe. Now he's maybe searching a bit more for that super safe driving, and maybe he's just dropping a bit further down than he really wants to.
But perhaps older and wiser, who knows? Either way, as I said, making history once again. And it is so incredible that even though he's not doing that full season, he's still managing just to tick off those little marks of history.
He is. I mean, I don't know when it will stop. I think also with the Sebastian before him, with Loeb, we saw that, you know, he retired like 10 times, and then he came back, and then he just made some new history. And, you know, to arrive here in Portugal, it's such a difficult rally as well, to avoid trouble so many times with 7 wins here in Portugal. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, incredible. Well, this is them on the top spot of the podium, celebrating Oitanak there in second, and Kalle Rovanperä giving it all till the final throws, finishing up in third position. A record 7th win here. Did we expect him to do it again? Well, he's certainly done it again. An incredible feat for Sébastien Ogier there. And of course, the crowds. The crowds have lapped up every minute of this weekend. Molly talked to us earlier about how long they had been up at FAF. You went to Lusada yesterday. Just the force of these fans, the incredible noise that they create. We've heard so many of the drivers, including yourself, talking about it as you travel through FAF, just the noise that carries you.
Yeah, I don't know how or what you can compare it to, but you know, driving here in Portugal has always been so special, and I have no idea where they find all these people, but they must import some from Spain and obviously the countries around here, because you can just see hundreds, thousands of people every meter of all the stages. There is never an end to it. So I would like to hear the counts on the spectators of this rally, because it's such an amazing feeling and so nice to see also from the footage on TV. I think it just proves the interest and what the sport can bring to the people.
Okay, well, let's just relive Sébastien Ogier at the end of the Wolf Power stage here in Portugal.
Since they've waited in the rain, we'll just have a word, because they probably couldn't hear your winner's interview. Just some words for the fans.
Well, thank you so much. Amazing atmosphere like every year here. Obrigado. Merci à tous. La pluie a attendu le bon moment. On est content. The rain just wait for the end, so it's perfect. And yeah, now I think it's time to celebrate for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's unbelievable. Just as Sébastien Ogier crossed over that stop line, a drop of rain fell as on us here in the service part. The rain was coming, but it has managed to make sure that he writes those history books once again. Chenny, come in. It's all right. Your hot lap was a bit slow this time, but I have been quite impressed with your back and forth.
Thank you. I put weight on though, all the walking.
Now, we are talking Sébastien Ogier still. That was an incredible power stage, an incredible weekend for Ogier.
Oh, Sébastien Ogier, yeah, it's been classic Seb, hasn't it, really? He's driven so intelligently, so smart. He's looked after the car. Other people have had issues around him. He himself said at the end of the rally there, I don't know what you guys have been talking about, so forgive me if I'm repeating, but...
Go for it.
Yeah, he himself said he wouldn't have had the pace to beat Oyt Tanak, which I thought was, from a sportsman's perspective, was a nice thing to say. But at the end of the day, you've got to bring the whole package. To come here and win this rally 7 times, that doesn't happen by fluke. You've got to be very, very special at what you do. And yeah, it was phenomenal. That power stage was absolutely brilliant. I'm still buzzing.
Still hyped
it was
from it.
double decent. Yeah, it was class.
Well, there we go, Sébastien Ogier. As we said, winner of Rally de Portugal. Let's just remind yourselves of who was where. We've just seen the podium, so we know the top 3 of Sébastien Ogier, Oyt Tanak and Kalle Rothenpera, but where did everybody else fall behind them there? So Thierry Neuville in 4th, and Taka in 5th, Evans in 6th, Sami Payari in 7th, McAlane in 8th, Munster in 9th, and the man that you just saw booping his horn behind us was Oliver Solberg in 10th. A fantastic win for him in WRC2 as well. So we'll get on to talking WRC2 in a bit, but that is how WRC Vodafone Rally de Portugal finishes for the 2025 season in the hands of Sébastien Ogier. The point system does look a little different now. The gaps have been closed towards Elfyn Evans. Elfyn is still sitting at the top of that championship table. However, we will get you the full points on the screen so we can just sort of remind you of everything of that. But let's talk about the man that had the pace to impress this weekend, Oyt Tanak.
Well, I think, you know, we have seen it from him so many times, the pace he can show. And I think also he said he was a lot happier with the balance of the Hyundai this weekend. And I think he really showed that. I mean, to outpace all the rest of the guys like that, okay, we see it from time to time also with other drivers, but he has constantly been putting in those top times. And I would say the second to last stage, that time he did there on a small stage, it's 8.8 kilometers, something like that. Everyone knows the stage so well, and he is basically just showing them how it's done. His pace has been truly incredible this weekend, and also if there is some updates to the Hyundai, which it seems like it has been, he's really used that to his full advantage, and he's been really happy with the car. Unfortunately, he had that issue with the steering, and you know, that can happen. It was not his fault, but at the same time, you know, when you're driving these stages, you have so many impacts, and you don't necessarily have to have an impact straight to the plate or through the wheel. It's just the beating the tires are getting, you know, and it's coming back in through the steering rack, and that will obviously just wear it out sometimes.
Yeah, well, we are just having a look at exactly what you're just talking about there, Chenny, but up until this point, he was bringing the battle all the way, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Oyt Tanak never gives up, and I'd say pound for pound, when you need to send somebody down a stage, he is pound for pound probably the fastest man there is out there. But when you find yourself in this situation, honestly, and you well know, Mads, it's so hard to drive a car, particularly on rough roads without any power steering at all. The best way to try and describe it is, and I said it in commentary, is go and switch the ignition of your car on, but don't start the engine so the power steering pump's not running, and then try and turn the steering wheels. Very, very hard, very heavy. That's what it's like. And look, Hyundai are frustrated, I think, because, you know, clearly they've made strides forward with the pace, but Cyril Abiteboul himself said, you know, we make 1 step forward or 2 steps forward and then 1 step back, and they could go to the roughest rally and that wouldn't fail, and they come here and it does. So frustrating. They've just got to iron that stuff out. The pace is there, now get the reliability there. And ideally, I think in a world, when you're building a Rally 1 car, you want to do it the other way around. That's sort of what Toyota did. But I think Hyundai have definitely made strides forward. As Mads said, taken really good positive steps forward in terms of pace and performance. They've got to give him a reliable car now.
And what a fight back on Sunday, bringing all the points home. I mean, that's what he needs. If he can not make the most of his full weekend here, at least pull in the 10 points that he got from Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, he just showed over the whole weekend he would be the fastest guy, and I think also he wanted to prove that today. And he never stopped thinking about winning this rally. I really believe that. You saw his fight yesterday with the power steering. He didn't give up, and even the co-driver went in and did his gear shifts for him. So they were fighting so hard to stay in the game, and they did a brilliant job even without the power steering. So I think he did a good fight all the way through the rally, and today as well he just showed them all how it should be done.
Yeah, and we've seen many a time last year in Sardinia as well, the lovely moments that Seb and Oit sort of share as good friends.
Yeah, that's man love.
Yeah, that's
You two have got a bit of that, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's but it's nice, isn't it? And it was interesting. Straight away, Seb says there, what time did you set? And he said 22, with a little glint in his eye. Yeah,
I was faster than you, yeah.
Did a 6:22, and that is hot. Honestly, what he was doing in that power stage, for anybody who, well, all the fans around who love the sport, you can look at the attitude of the car, you can see how hard he was pushing. There was nothing left to give. It was trees or trophies. And in this instance, it was trophies, and he properly deserved that.
OK, well, let's see how the Super Sunday points finished up. Then we did just mention that Oit Tanak pulled in the full haul of 10 points this Sunday here in Portugal, getting the full maximum out of the Wolf power stage as well. But you can just see there that it was Kalle with the 4 points. That means he's 30 points behind Elfyn Evans in the overall championship. And then Thierry with 3, Ogier with 2, and Elfyn Evans with 1. Guys, your mics are still live. All right, that is your Super Sunday points as you see them on your screens. There we go. All right, what were you two talking about? Come on.
Nothing.
I just said to Jenny he's looking a bit pale. I was asking if
he was well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have wondered that for a while.
Yeah.
No is the answer. All sorts wrong with me.
And none we can repeat on air. Right, well, we are with you for a while, so we'll just avoid that topic. OK, here's our points breakdown of the weekend. 28 points goes to Sebastian Ogier, Oit Tanak with 27, Kalle Rothenperä 22, Thierry with 19, Taka with 12, Elfyn Evans with 9, Sammy with 6 there, Josh with 4, and we can see Oliver Solberg just bagging a little point there to round up our top 10. That does mean that Sebastian Ogier in our overall classifications moves up to 3rd. So it has changed around.
One day, I'm going to ask the producers to cut away from that monitor so they can see you.
You can see
what
that.
I'm going to do, she walks up like this, and she's like this. Those old tired eyes of yours letting you down because you can't really. We'll get you some glasses.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, that would be nice. All right. Well, Kalle Rothenperä, plenty of times this weekend. He's told us that he's pushing as hard as he could. When I spoke to Juha earlier on, he was saying that you never quite know with Kalle. He can always pull something out that surprises you, but he couldn't do any more with this car this weekend.
No, what surprised me a little bit, I mean, we know his pace, we know what he can do, and we saw it last time out in Canarias as well. I think this time, you know, his pace was a little bit up and down, and it seemed like he felt he was doing the same all the time. He didn't really find his rhythm 100%. And some of the stages he put in was absolutely incredible. He was so far ahead of everyone, and he just said the same. It didn't feel perfect, but it was quite okay. You know, if they didn't beat me, they must have been really bad. So he was playing a bit the game there at the same time. But I felt the speed was a bit up and down, and I can't really say why it's like that. Also, looking at his driving, it looked quite the same all the weekend. He was always pushing, always trying, but too much up and down on the pace.
Yeah, I'd agree. And there was inconsistencies with the tyres. He himself was saying, when everyone else was running softs on the front, he was bolting a set of hards on to try and get that to switch the car on. And I don't think he was able to quite work out the sweet spot with the tyres. And I think everyone's still learning that. We even saw yesterday, there was one point of the day when the temperatures were up, and because the tyre wear on the soft is so good, it didn't really matter if you were on the hard or the soft. You didn't see a difference in it. So I think that's something else Kalle struggled with a little bit as well. OK,
well, we're going into this sort of summer section of gravel now. So after this weekend, we might see quite a lot more from him once he's sort of got a bit more used to this tyre and combination with the car, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're always playing with the tyres, and as they are learning more about the tyres as well, they will choose differently, I'm quite sure. But we are heading into some rallies now where it's pretty obvious you will use a lot more soft tire. But then again, you can end up seeing just one crew going with full hards and beating everyone. This is I think it's the beauty of it, that they are still learning, they are still developing the car now around a new tire, and that can completely change things sometimes. You find some small details. The engineers are, I'm sure, working really hard to try and understand how the tires are developing, how they are working with temperature, how the tire wear is, and then they will tune the suspension, the balance of the car, and try to make the most out of it. And even sometimes I'm sure the engineers will push the drivers a little bit more to do the things they are not really willing to do.
Okay, wow, Chenny, it wasn't Elfyn Evans's weekend. I think just from the get-go of opening that road, it's been a tough weekend, but still the points haven't been bad. He's still got a 30-point buffer. Yeah,
exactly, and it's nice that you to hear a bit of positivity around it. There's been quite a lot of doom and gloom around Elfyn Evans, and it's not right. You can't come to, again, as you well know, you can't come to this rally and lead. It has been done before, but it's been an anomaly. It's very rare you come to this rally and open the road and then go on and stick it on the podium. Like I said, it has been done in the past, but rarely. Elfyn's done a good job this weekend in a car that he's not been happy with. Again, he's getting used to the hard compound and the soft compound Hankook tyre on a traditional gravel rally. So it's not, all is not lost by any stretch of the imagination. The job was come here, score some points, stick it inside the top 6. That's what Elfyn told me before the weekend. He's done that. Of course he's disappointed. He's a competitor, but he's got a 30-point lead going into Sardinia. And that, for me, is actually going to be more difficult for Elfyn opening the road there. That's really tricky because it's very, very soft and very, very sandy. But I think Elfyn has done the job that he's needed to, and this is all part of his championship story now. Yeah, indeed. Well, can Thierry Neuville now be a bit of a comeback king as we move into the next few gravel rounds? I think that problem earlier on that he had obviously hampered his charge, but also it was a bit of road position as well. Yeah, I think so. I think Thierry's done a as always, he never gives up, and as we said, we've seen strides forward with the Hyundai. That was right back on Friday, that moment there, and he dropped 8 or so seconds on that, and he was on the back foot from that point. And again, on a rally like this, where the margins are so fine, the time you can't afford to drop 8, 9, 10 seconds like that. So yeah, I think there's lots of positives again that Thierry can take from the weekend from a performance point of view. The back of the car hasn't been where he's wanted it to be. We've all seen it. You're just getting that snap oversteer on turning. It bites really nicely, and then you just get that instant snap oversteer, and that's what he doesn't like. Oyt Tanak's able to drive around that problem a little bit better, I think. If they can iron that out, it'll be right there. It's way better than it was, and yes, in answer to your question, I think there's no reason why Thierry Neuville can't be the comeback king. This championship is far from over. I honestly think it's going to go right down to the wire. It's brilliant. Now talking Martin Sess, we've only got about 10 minutes left, so we'll shift through these drivers now to sum up the weekend. Martin Sess, when he first sort of came into the WRC, it was so impressive. I think there's sort of quite a heavy weight on his shoulders that he wants to come back out and impress. He had this puncture on the first stage of Friday morning. The game was sort of over from that point.
Yeah, I think, we know the talent and the pace of Martins, but it also has to be said that he is specifically good, and I would say very good, on home soil, on this type of fast gravel rallies where you are with high average pace. You can just put the car sideways into the corner and go flat out. When he arrives to these rallies, when you are playing a bit more the game, I think he is not bad. He is actually very good in that as well, but he don't have the experience to do that. And I think it's just naturally he will struggle a bit more on these type of rallies, but we are now entering a part of the season where we will see a few more of the rallies that he will like, and he will do really well, I'm sure. So I think anyway, he's done all the stages this weekend. He has been through some of the trouble I think you have to go through to build that experience, and he has done that, and he has also shown some pace. Some good pace, yeah. So yeah, I think for him, he can go home and be happy about many things, and I think the rest of it is just a lesson learned.
Yeah, indeed, and I suppose Adrian Formo's just not really had, I was going to say lesson learned for Adrian, but not really at all. He's been at the top end of it and then just at the bottom end of it so quickly.
As far as I'm concerned, Adrian Formo was robbed this weekend. You know, what happened was just the perfect storm.
Yeah.
You know, on Friday, he was right there, right up at the business end. He was showing his pace in both himself and the car. He didn't hit anything. It was just an open wheel, tiny bit of bedrock that every other car went over.
Yeah.
And the steering arm just let go on him, and it just sheared. There was nothing he did wrong there. And Hyundai will have to go and look at that. Maybe it was a failing component. Maybe he'd hit something else previously in the stage and damaged it. I don't know. And caused a hairline crack in it, and that's what caused it to fail, regardless. Or it was a bad component. I don't know. They'll have to go and look at it. But for me, Adrian Fourmeau was robbed,
yeah.
and he was right there pace-wise. And now we're at the point, and I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, but I think Adrian Fourmeau's at the point now where he deserves to take a rally win.
I agree, completely.
Well, he was in second,
Correct
like you were saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything else.
You'll agree, no matter what, Matt.
Yeah.
No, he was in second, wasn't he? So he was there or thereabouts. Such disappointment. So, of course, I finished with no points after retiring just before the Wolf Power stage.
Sorry, who was that?
Adrian.
Retired
Yeah. I mean,
Power
yeah,
stage.
thank you. I had a producer in this ear.
That's
and you in
payback
that ear.
for saying that my eyes are bad. Your hearing's bad.
Yeah, true. And I've got terrible eyes. Yeah, look, I think sometimes it was a shame that they did retire the car. They reckon that there was a cooling package issue. I'll be honest, I don't know much more than that, but there was a cooling issue. But to be honest, there wasn't much to be gained regardless. No. So, yeah, stick the car in the back of the trailer straight and go to Sardinia.
All right, we're moving swiftly on to Taka. You've been waiting a little while to say Japan Airlines again, and I think you got the right moment for that.
Yeah, it was class. I haven't seen a car go over, and I know you won't like me saying this, probably as long, but Taka was massive over the jump. He's had an eventful morning. I think this is, I tell you what, Kiri, my eyes aren't great either. I can't see much of that monitor, but
I think this is his moment, so this is
here we go. This is the
where
hairpin. Yeah, so you can see that's where the back of the car had dug in, hit some bedrock, and it turned the car around. Strong car, the Toyota, because, I mean, it took a massive wallop on that rear right. You'd have expected something to break. It didn't do, and they pressed on and were able to then properly attack the power stage. And again, going over the jump, you could see by the attitude of the car, by the angles, how hard he was trying, and going over that jump. Probably seen cars go as long, but not as high. It was incredible. I don't know what you made.
I agree. It was a fantastic jump, and I think we were all sat in the office watching it, and everyone just whoa!
Yeah.
It was
mad.
mega.
It was
yeah,
mad.
That was definitely Taka Airlines. That's a big impact on the landing. I must say as well, you know, the cars we were jumping a few years ago, they had longer suspensions.
Yes.
The impacts he's taking now from that jump, that would have been sitting down in the sofa 5 years ago.
That was on the bump stops.
Now it's like someone's pulling the chair under you.
Are you handing over the crown, do you think, to Taka? Not yet.
That would be hard to do. But yeah,
go.
that's a massive jump. Let's give it a couple of years and then we see.
We'll see. Okay, well, an incredible jump at least from Taka. He's had some good fights through the weekend though with Calais. You know, he's been in the mix at points with Calais.
Yeah, for sure. Look, Taka's performance has been right there.
All right. Have you got an earplug in?
Has been right there. Every time you talk to me, producer in this ear, and I can't adjust the volume. But Taka's pace has been superb, and Calais' pace has been superb. I think Toyota have come here as you'd expect, with the best all-round package, haven't they?
Yeah.
And every rally that we go to, they're the team to beat. I think pace-wise, Hyundai are there or thereabouts. They really, really are. And in some cases this weekend have actually been the quicker car. But unless you can provide the reliability with it, it all becomes null and void by the end of the weekend. And that, for me, still makes the Toyota the all-round package.
Yeah, all right. Well, what has all of this done to our overall championship standings as we leave Portugal? Right, it is Elfyn Evans still out in front. It's a 30-point lead that he does have over Calais Rothenperre. Calais managed to take 13 out of him from this weekend. Sebastian Ogier in third. Oit Tanak in fourth with 84 points. Thierry Neuville there with 78 points. And Taka with 51 points. Adrian Fourmeau, 44 points. Sami Payeri with 25. Will you two leave leave me alone. And Greg Munster down the bottom there with Josh McElwain. Now with the manufacturers, we've got Toyota with 258, Hyundai with 203, 72 for M Sport. I'm sat back down, you can't cut back to me in vision looking at the numbers. It's all on your screen so you can read it. At the moment, Toyota is the leading team and Elfyn Evans is the leading man. Now, listen, we've just got a limited amount of time to get through the remaining things, so let's talk WRC2 as the cars return back to service. Right, Oliver Solberg, what a fantastic weekend for him, and he's had highs and lows throughout it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there has been more highs than lows for sure. I think, you know, he had that spin, and to be honest, he would love that spin because that was great. Did you see his spin?
Yes, I did.
That's absolutely amazing. It's one of the best spins I've seen. So, you know, I think he would take that as one of the highlights of the weekend. So his pace has just been incredible. I think he has had everything under control and he's dominated completely the rally. And yeah, I think he is just so well deserved. I think he even left a bit of space in his speed there, and I think that's wise. We have seen from him before that he is outpacing everyone, but then he just keeps on going. He keeps on pushing, and then something happens even when he's not under threat.
Okay.
So this was a good rally by him.
Yeah, definitely a good rally for him. So Johan Russell there with 67 points. Oliver Solberg now just 7 points behind, and Gus with 40 points in third. And I should say that Oliver Solberg also won the Forum 8 award, unsurprisingly, for the most stage wins. All right, well, it is almost time for us to leave you guys. Have you enjoyed it here in Portugal?
Yeah, we have. I have enjoyed it. I think Jenny not, but I have really enjoyed it.
I've had the time of my life. It's been a long weekend for everybody, you included, all of us included. Yeah. But it's been a brilliant. It's just a mega place to come rallying. The fans have been unbelievable. It's been class. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, what an absolutely incredible weekend, Mads. Thank you for joining us this weekend. It's been an absolute joy to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining in to another epic WRC round. It is goodbye from all of us here in Portugal. We'll see you very soon.